Hey gang, it's Ryan again over at bulletprooflease.com. A 31-page lease designed to protect you, the landlord. 31 pages, that's kind of ridiculous, right? I mean, I hate the fact that it's got to be that, but you know what? As a landlord of some size, I needed ultimate protection. So it's 31 pages, so there it is. Okay, so today's tip, I'll try not to ramble today, but today's tip is about money, our favorite subject as real estate investors, okay? So invariably, and I'm just going to use numbers that are simple, so don't hold me to these. And I should just qualify, state laws are different everywhere. Do your own research. I can't know every law in every municipality. But generally speaking, here's the problem with most investors. So if a property is $100,000, again, making up numbers here, well, getting the first, let's just say 75, as long as the property makes financial sense, is virtually guaranteed in commercial financing. That's easy. It's that last 25%. And in our example, that's $25,000, right? Okay, so how to get that money, right? And people are like, well, I don't have money for a down payment. Now, obviously, we're dealing with bigger numbers. So, the down payment could be $250,000, maybe you don't have that lying around. Well, how do you get that money for the down payment? And traditionally what people do is they'll try to find an investor. Hey, give me $250,000 so I can put a down payment on this $1 million building. Well, sure, I could pay 8%, 9%, whatever. Well, the problem is the investor's going to say, great, if I give you $250,000, how am I secured? I love the 8%, but how are you going to secure my investment? And of course, you're going to say, I give you a second mortgage. And that's the problem, okay? Nobody wants a second mortgage. It's useless. What are you saying? Tits on a bull, okay? So here's why. So if I loan you $250,000 and you give me a second mortgage on the property, what happens if you don't pay me? Well, I can foreclose, right? Wrong. Okay, because I'm a second mortgage. The first mortgage has to be paid off so I can foreclose. So now I got to spend another $750 in addition to my $250 to pay off the first mortgage so I can become the first lien holder. Then I can foreclose. It's a bullshit thing, right? That's why you won't find a lot of people offering second mortgages, especially for down payment. I've rambled. Okay, so now let's kind of look for a solution, a creative solution. Done this dozens of times, okay? With a lot of my students, by the way. Some of my students have gotten very wealthy doing this exact thing I'm about to tell you. So instead of saying, hey, Ron, loan me $250, I'll give you a second mortgage. Ron, give me $250 and I'll put you on the LLC that owns the building, okay? So typically, again, I'm just gonna kind of make this up as I talk, but this is close. So here's $250, but I wanna own 95% economic membership of the LLC that owns the building, okay? Because you bought it in an LLC, because that's the only real way that you can get the financing through a DSCR financing, okay? So I know it's in an LLC. And by the way, it should always be in an LLC for asset protection too, but that's another video. Okay, so now I give you $250 and I own 95% of the LLC that owns the building. Economic membership is where most states term that as, okay? So again, do your own diligence. Okay, so now, but in our operating agreement, it says, hey, Ron, as soon as I pay you back the $250 as per whatever we've agreed to, you have to surrender the 95%. You can't screw me, Ron, going, hey, I got 95% of the building. Conversely, what it says to protect me is upon 60 days or 30 days of non-payment, it automatically triggers to 100%. What's the advantage to investor? I don't have to foreclose. You're just out of the LLC. I own the building. No foreclosure. Think about that. So it's actually ultimate protection. So I'm more incentivized now to give you $250. It's got to be secured, guys. Okay, so that's a great way to get some down payment money. I rambled a little bit. I didn't want to make this video that long, but sometimes it needs an example, okay? So guys, get creative out there if you don't have down payment money. And by the way, it's worth noting, who says you got to put down payment on a building? Well, banks do. Why are you using banks? Okay. But in our example today, that's the bank. If you want to go to a bank, you got to put 20, 25% down. And that's one way to get it. Okay. So guys, have fun, get out there, make a lot of offers. And more importantly, visit bulletprooflease.com. Thanks for watching.